Everybody, welcome to Planet Lizzdom, the show where anything and everything can happen at all times. Guys, welcome to the show this week. I can't believe we're already at episode 35. Can you believe that? That's crazy. And every week I just am so excited to discover new and amazing entrepreneurs, entertainers, artists, creators. And guys, you guys are the reason that I do this show every week. And I met some really amazing people a couple of days ago when I bought this fabulous hat, and I was just dying to introduce you to them. They're some of the most exciting people that I've ever met. They're just so stylish and they're so whimsical, and they have such an amazing array of wares, and I think you guys are absolutely going to love them. Their names are Rachel Small and Nathan Brown, and they are the proprietors of my new favorite store, Ragdoll Vintage. Everybody, please give them a warm welcome. Hi guys, welcome to the show. How are you?
Cheers.
Oh my gosh, cheers. You guys got a fancy glass. I love it.
You didn't want to.
Oh my gosh. I when I saw you guys grabbing those beautiful glasses right when we were doing the intro, I just got so excited. I thought, oh, you guys are amazing. I have to ask right off the bat, why Ragdoll Vintage?
We were throwing around a bunch of different names, and I guess I was just trying to think of ways to incorporate like rags, clothing, we both love dolls. I have a huge collection of creepy dolls that are all over our house. So
I love it.
And all over the store as well. So there was a couple things floating around, and then Ragdoll got suggested, and we both really liked it. So
yeah, and it kind of stuck.
Well, I immediately, when I hear Ragdoll Vintage, I immediately feel a sense of belonging. And I know that's going to sound very strange, but, being a misfit, as I am, and a huge lover of sideshow and circus and all things odd and whimsical, I think it's a very inviting name, and I really like it because there's no pretension behind it. It's just very humble and honest.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh gosh, I mean, I can't even I'm getting goosebumps. Guys, when I walked into your store, I mean, I just immediately felt so excited and so happy, kind of like when you do go to, a sideshow or a carnival, there's an immediate sense of fun in your store. Like, I don't know if you guys can see in the background the way I can, but there's red and white striping along the top. There's all these cool mannequin hands along the wall. How long did it take you guys to assemble your space?
So it took us about 2.5 months in total to get it all together. But a lot longer than that, really just collecting over the years and sort of getting everything.
The vision, the idea.
So it all kind of came together over a long period of time, but the actual renovations and stuff were about 2 months.
That's amazing because, I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers this space beforehand, but it certainly did not look like that at all. You've really transformed it very well.
We tend to do that.
Well, for those who may not know much about you, and that would be myself included, what is your background coming into Ragdoll Vintage?
Well, I was previously picking for a different company, for Black Market, which I'm sure everybody knows. I was with them for about 5 years, and prior to that, I had a bunch of different small jobs working at different vintage establishments, and I'm just very ready to do it for myself. It's what I had always planned on, so I was just thrilled to get the opportunity, which sort of came on kind of suddenly, and it all happened very quickly, so we couldn't be happier with the way it turned out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No,
I was working in bars for several years before doing this, and then that kind of came to an end when the bars shut down for COVID and all that kind of stuff. So just needed to do something different. And we both always kind of wanted to do this for many years. So it was about time.
I couldn't really imagine what else we were going to do with our lives. And we're both collectors and hoarders, so the house basically looks like this, and
except black and white stripes.
Yeah, we have black and white stripes at home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So there's a running theme here.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, actually, we moved into a very modern townhouse, like right at the beginning of COVID and like during the first lockdown. And we really just spent all of our time not working, transforming the space, demodernizing it as much as possible, and just kind of making it look like a madhouse. And then everyone that came over was like, your place is like a museum. I feel like people would come in here just to look around. And so I feel like that really spilled over into the design of the store. When we were talking about how we wanted to paint it, we couldn't really settle on any like solid color for the walls that felt quite right. And I was like, why don't we just do stripes again, but red and white. And as soon as we did it, of course, Nathan pointed out that it looked like a circus tent. So the circus theme just sort of built from there.
It spiraled out of control from there.
Yeah.
Well, the beautiful thing about circus is that you can really be anything, you know, and I think that's something that I found, you know, sometimes I'll forget with vintage that, you know, you really can be a little more creative if you want to be, you know, because every piece that you do pick up is unique in that sense. You know, the likelihood that you're going to find the same hat twice, it's really not going to happen because it's vintage, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I have to say, when I saw this hat, it was love at first sight. As soon as I picked it up and put it on, I went, okay, that's mine. I have to have it.
I was really excited to sell that one. I think it's a really good classic piece, but the red gives it kind of a touch of whimsy.
And I love it with your hair color too.
Yeah.
I was saying it earlier, I feel like a comic book supervillain, and I'm so happy about that. But I think, you know, going into fall every year, you know, red is such a powerful color. So I've actually been looking for a fedora like this for a while. So I was really thrilled to find it because it's the actual shape that I want, because I didn't want to bring too wide. I wanted a taller, you know, whatever this part's called, cap.
Everyone that looked at it made the Carmen Sandiego joke, of course.
That's right. And you know what? I furthered that joke by putting it on my head. I was like, okay, you know what? Tell me you grew up in the 80s and the 90s without telling me. Now, you know, you guys have been open for what, about a month now?
Yeah, just over a month. On Tuesday was our 1 month anniversary.
Wow. Happy anniversary. Like, that's so exciting.
Yeah, it was actually the day that you came and bought the hat. That was our 1 month anniversary.
Ah, that's so lucky. I felt so special spinning that wheel. That's just what I did. It's so fun.
That was a little sale that we were doing for the 1 month anniversary, and we'll be doing a few more of those sales once in a while.
Yeah, we keep the wheel up all the time, so anyone who spends over $100 before tax gets a spin automatically. And then for the opening, we did every purchase gets a spin, and so for the 1 month anniversary, we also did every purchase gets a spin. So it's just like a fun little thing. We wanted to have some things around the shop that added to that kind of carnival circus sense of whimsy, made it a little more fun than just your average shopping experience.
Absolutely. Something that, you know, I don't know if anyone else has seen when they've gone in, but I noticed it immediately and I loved it. You guys have a very big vintage television seated in front of the love seat that you're sitting on right now. And I mean, guys, it's so big. I forgot that TVs could arrive that big.
Yeah, the screen's not necessarily that big.
Yeah, it's not like the giant flat screens.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a beast.
We had the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus playing on repeat for the first month, and I just switched it up today to watching Doctor Strangelove today.
Oh, nice!
Switching it up, going black and white for a little bit.
My favorite part is where he's riding on the bomb going down. Yeehaw!
Amazing.
It's great.
We just got gifted a whole pile of VHS tapes by a guy that found us on Instagram. His name is Nathan Boone, right? Nathan Boone. And he came by and picked up this little smaller TV that we had. And then he came back like an hour later with just a duffel bag full of VHS tapes for us. It was so nice.
Well, first of all, he rode his bike home with a television in his bike basket.
Yeah.
And then he
came
back
his bike back with a bag of tapes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
We're stocked up with cool VHS tapes.
We already have a huge collection of tapes at home, so we'll just like rotate them, swap them out, play different things. The Rock and Roll Circus was hard to turn off because we were so excited about it. And like the circus theme, of course, and all of the outfits are very well suited to the atmosphere. And Nathan actually used a bunch of clips from it for the video that he put on Instagram for our opening, so it was very appropriate.
Very cool. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's thematically, it makes so much sense for you guys, you know, because you're not just vintage and retro, but you are fun and whimsical at the same time. And I have to, you know, literally my hat's off to you for opening your business during COVID. You know, when this whole pandemic first started, I wondered if, you know, new business would ever occur. And I'm seeing so much of it, you know, begin right now.
I've seen a bunch of new stores happening, like specifically vintage stores too. And there's a bunch popping up right now, and people are taking a chance. But I think it's working out pretty good for us anyway so far.
Yeah, it was definitely a risk, and we knew that, but it was like a very worthwhile risk to take. I think for a lot of people, this whole pandemic has really given people a lot of time to think about their lives and what they're doing with themselves, and it sort of sparked the need for change for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know, one of the reasons that I did start this show was to, you know, give a platform and a place for entrepreneurs and artists and entertainers and creators and everybody who lost a stage or lost an opportunity to really discuss how you're creating your own opportunity now. You know, you're really going out there and taking that chance and that risk and grabbing that for yourself. And I think that's so amazing.
Yeah, we got lucky with the timing too. Like we opened right after things had really like properly opened up again. So it wasn't like we were trying to open in the middle of a lockdown, which would have been way scarier.
Yeah.
The timing really worked in our favor, and we just have to keep our fingers crossed that everything stays open. And people have been so overwhelmingly supportive and loving. I think everyone is just really happy to see new small businesses and to see even existing small businesses thrive, because I think that was like a huge worry during this whole thing, was that our city was going to lose a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And people didn't want to see that happen. They didn't want to see all of the main downtown streets just turn into strips of nothing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I've noticed that, like, you'll go down certain streets and it's all boarded up, you know, and then all of a sudden you'll see a new chain store open up and you think, oh my gosh, is this where we're headed?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really happy to say that it doesn't look like it. I'm seeing so much small business open up and thrive right now. And it's so reassuring and so exciting to me because, you know, I'm a very big believer that, you know, that kind of great risk has so much reward. And look, you guys are loved already. Look at this. Rockaway Siren saying that, you know, she loves you. Hi, Rockaway. Very nice to meet you.
Well, she's a good close friend of ours.
Hi,
so we always appreciate the support from Karen.
Very nice. Well, I mean,
he actually helped us out a lot. Like right before we opened, she like was here steaming clothes for 3 days straight.
We had a lot of help from a lot of really good friends.
Yeah.
We got lucky there.
Because it was just the two of us doing everything. And if it weren't for having like great friends who were just willing to volunteer their time to help us out, it would have probably taken us a lot longer to get set up and get open. So we like greatly appreciate the generous help of all of our friends.
Absolutely.
It's true. It's that song, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a lot of help from my friends. Oh my gosh. There isn't enough beer and pizza out there for all the work for us.
And that's pretty much all we provided. So
yeah.
But you know, beer and pizza goes a long way. Like I am very easily bribed that way, and I will always take that if someone wants to offer it, because I can't help my friends and my nears and dears enough. You know, I know we were talking earlier pre-show about your Instagram, which is wonderful. I want to make sure I direct everybody to it before I forget. If you go to Ragdoll Vintage Toronto. This is where you can see different highlights and different, snippets of what their store looks like and what they have. In fact, I managed to find a couple of photos today on your Instagram that shows, a really great snapshot of what your store looks like. And these photos are amazing. I don't even know who I should be giving credit to because they are so beautiful.
All him.
Wow, very nice.
Well, thank you very much.
The fisheye really kind of captures the warmth and the magic of your shop, and Melanie's absolutely right. You guys are a really amazing couple. You're very.
That's Mom.
Oh, thanks, Mom. Oh my gosh. Well, when I came into the store, you guys were very, very calm and welcoming, and it's very obvious that you two work together very, very well. There's kind of that.
We're lucky that we get along so well.
Yeah.
No big fights yet, so.
Oh, that's good. Although they do say that, if you fight, it's because you're passionate and that you care. Maybe.
Absolutely.
We care. I think we both really love every piece in here. And so when people are trying stuff on and making purchases and getting excited about things, we're excited with them because everything has been hand selected with love, and we want to share that love with every customer that comes in and walks out with something that they're excited about.
And that's so magical. You don't get that at the big chain stores the same way, because it is about treasure hunting.
I think it's one of many reasons why vintage shopping has exploded during the pandemic. People kind of wanted to focus on these smaller businesses and just things that have a little bit more love behind them. And fast fashion has just gotten so out of control in terms of how much and how quickly things are produced, and then how quickly those things end up in landfills, or you buy them and they fall apart after a month. And so when you're purchasing something that's already existed for 20 plus years, you know that it's going to last, and you know that it has a story behind it, and
yep.
you get to imagine what that story might be. And it's way more of an authentic experience in so many ways.
Absolutely. And I think the experience of coming into your store and having that magical moment really makes a huge difference and resonates with that garment. I mean, case in point again, when I put on my hat today, I was like, oh, I remember that awesome feeling I had as soon as I put it on, and I did a lap around the store, and then I watched the Rolling Stones on the TV. I wouldn't get that at a chain store. I'd be like, oh, and then they rushed me out the door and took my money, and that was it. And that was not the case with you guys. I mean, I really felt like I was hanging out for a long time with you.
That's why we wanted to have the little living room set up here, was so that people felt like they could, come take a load off, or if you're shopping with a friend and you're waiting for them in the fitting room, you have somewhere to sit that's comfortable, where you can browse some books or look at some buttons or some old photos or watch the TV. It's just, a little bit more relaxed.
Absolutely. And I have to say, the selection that you have is really, really comprehensive. I won't say I shop a lot, but I do shop a lot. And I've seen quite a lot of different collections. And what I enjoy about your store is that you have different homes for everything. There's the accessory home, but then you have little bits of accessories scattered throughout. There's, the dress home, the cardigan home. Oh, that was a dangerous home for me. I had to really put my foot down for a second. Guys, the cardigan collection is amazing. Oh my God.
We're excited for fall. So
Yeah.
things like sweaters just started coming out. We just put out a rack of coats right after you were here. The heavy coats started to come out. Wool pants, wool skirts, all kinds of fun fall stuff, leather jackets.
Fall is kind of our favorite season for dressing ourselves anyway. So
it's one of the most fun seasons to get dressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's all about the layering and just, exactly. Is that velvet?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Nice. I can feel it.
We wouldn't stuff ourselves in velvet.
Now, because you guys look so put together and so interesting, do you find, and this happens to me a lot, not so much now, but pre-pandemic it would, where people will just reach out and start touching you and, showing the texture of what you're wearing, or just,
It does happen a lot, especially when you're wearing fur, but that's kind of one good thing that the pandemic stopped. It's just strangers touching you.
People feel a little bit more hesitant about just reaching out and taking a grab.
But I mean, it's happened to you, right? Because it's happened to me where I'm just, someone grabs onto me. I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is a thing. I brought it on myself. I'm interesting. Okay.
Clothes.
Now, speaking of clothes and really interesting things, picking and, choosing things for your store, how often would you say you fall in love with what you're picking and you don't want to part with it?
Frequently.
A lot.
There's tons of stuff in here that was in my closet or in his closet at some point, or our closet, because we share things as well all the time. And sometimes I'll wear something once and then realize I'm probably never going to wear it again. And there are times too where, you take something that you haven't worn in a while and you're like, maybe we should sell it. And then we might take it back because we question it and then put it back out. So there's definitely a lot of attachment to things, but
Have you ever had that moment where you're watching a customer purchase the item and you're like, oh, I don't know if I really want to part with that?
Like a few days ago, like that happened. But you get over it. It's like it makes it better when they're super excited about it and that they're gonna love it as much as you do, if not more. And we have a lot, so
we do.
We have a whole room that is just a dedicated closet room, and it's not even enough space. So
yeah, I had to turn the second room in our apartment into a walk-in closet to accommodate all of our stuff.
Yeah, I can relate. Actually, this studio is also my walk-in closet right now.
Yeah.
You don't see, but I've got my own rack and my own, shoes and you name it. Like the house is.
You mentioned that you have a huge hat collection, so.
Oh my gosh, yes. I bought 2 more today.
No.
I did.
Well, we both have hat problems as well. So.
The only problem was where to store them.
They're tricky to store because you gotta keep them properly in hat boxes so they don't get crushed.
Absolutely.
I have a stack of about 10 fedoras sitting beside my bed right now.
Yes. And do you find when you stack your fedoras, you do stiffest to softest, so it doesn't wreck that part?
I try to do biggest to smallest so the pile doesn't fall over.
That's also smart.
I think I saw someone just ask what was the most historic piece.
Yes.
In my own personal collection at home, I have some Victorian pieces. Nothing like that has come into the shop yet for sale. A lot of it is in more display condition than it is in wearable condition. So I have it kind of hanging decoratively in our house. And I've thought about potentially bringing some pieces in for rental at some point. But those kind of pieces are very hard to come by, harder and harder, as the years go by to come by. So I tend to hold on to them because they're hard to find. So those are the kinds of things I have a really hard time parting with, anything that's from the late 1900s or earlier.
Of course. I mean, what a treasure. But I have to ask, for those who may be actually very new to vintage, what makes a piece displayable versus wearable?
Well, with pieces that old, things from the 1890s, for example, they tend to, there's a lot of silks and things that tend to just rot and disintegrate over time, even if they are stored well. So there might be something that still looks gorgeous on a hanger, but if you were to wear it out and not be careful, it could just shred off your body over the course of the night.
Oh my gosh. Has that ever happened to you?
I do sometimes wear some pieces that are very delicate that I have to be very careful with, and I try my hardest. We had one incident, actually, not with anything that old, but we did a bunch of street sales over the course of the summer while we were waiting to open. And there was this one day I was wearing a pair of 1950s velvet wiggle pants that were kind of difficult to move in. So I had to be very careful about bending over. And at one point in the day, I kind of stopped thinking about it. And I just bent down to pick something up and the whole butt just split open, and I had to get our friend Wes, who was hosting us. It was out back of his tattoo shop that we were having the sale. We had to call him, and he had to go buy an emergency sewing kit so that I could run inside and sew my pants.
That would definitely not be the day to go commando.
Well, I was wearing a thong, so it was very dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
Put my back to the fence until I was ready to repair them. I think I had
Wrap the sweater around your waist.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely the type of person that's willing to put fashion over function, like a lot of the time.
Yeah. You know, I think we have all suffered for the look. I actually had an experience like that about 2 years ago, the summer before the pandemic. I decided that I wanted to wear a pencil dress, a polka dot pencil halter dress, looked great. And all of a sudden my best friend told me, well, we have to get into a lift to go meet the band. And I'm like, but I can't sit in this dress. She's like, you have to take the lift there because we've got like 10 minutes. So I'm not even joking. I hiked it up. I had put little bike shorts on. And when we got out of the lift, I thought I was so cool pulling my dress down. Well, isn't the entire band and their groupies watching me do this? And I'm so cool. Okay, hi.
I would have respected it a lot.
Well, then I had to sit down with them in the restaurant, so I hiked the dress back up with my bike shorts. Like, what can you do at that point, right?
I mean, sometimes it's worth it if the look is good enough.
I stand by it. It looked really good, and it definitely got
photos that night.
You know what? I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can find. But let's put it this way. Any illusions of being perfect or, intimidating, gone out the window. Done. Now, I always ask this. Holy Grail pieces. Is there anything that you're still searching for that maybe you haven't found or doesn't exist or is like way too much money?
For me, again, like the Holy Grail pieces tend to be things that are just truly like so old that they're very hard to come by. So I would love like a 1920s cocoon coat. You see them on Etsy, they're like $1,000 and more sometimes. But if I were to find one in my picking travels, I would be absolutely thrilled. He's been dying for like an antique swimsuit with stripes.
Oh yeah.
And that was like a wool, like a 1920s or possibly a little bit earlier, like pull on.
Yeah.
With the shorts.
But it needs to be stripes.
But he wants one with stripes, which is even harder to come by.
Okay. And would a repro work, or does it have to be authentic?
No, it's got to be authentic.
I respect a really well done repro. However, I think I tend to be like a little bit of a purist. So when I want something authentic, the reproduction just wouldn't suffice.
That's fair. And I find sometimes even just the quality of material and construction
very different.
Not even the same.
I think it's really great when people make repros with actual vintage fabric, which, for the people that do that is tough because the price gets up there because the fabric itself is expensive to buy and then your labor and time that goes into it. But
of course,
the quality of the fabric is a big part of why vintage clothes are so much nicer and more special than modern clothing, where the fabric quality is just so much less.
Absolutely. I would love to actually talk about that after these messages because there's a lot more that I want to learn about the quality of vintage. So we'll be back in 2 seconds and we'll discuss that right after this.
Hey everyone, Planet Lizzdom now has a Patreon. Your help will allow Liz to make the show even bigger, cover costs, and help bring on celebrity guests. Go to patreon.com/Planet Lizzdom and pledge now.
Halloween night, something strange returns with an assortment of the most bizarre and unusual acts in the world. Strong men, pain-proof freaks, clowns from the depths of hell. This is a show that is not for the faint of heart. Tickets are limited, so get yours now on Eventbrite before they're gone. Canada's premier sideshow is back. Something strange.
Now, with the quality of... I gotta talk about something strange. It's coming up Halloween, guys. It's gonna be amazing.
Looks awesome.
It looks so good.
Oh my gosh. Have you guys been to something strange yet?
No, and I need to go.
You gotta come out. Mysterion and I are gonna be hosting it. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be so good.
We'll be in touch with you about that for sure.
Yeah.
That sounds right up our alley. Everything's about it.
Absolutely. We will definitely be talking to you guys about it. But I want to go back, more importantly, I want to talk about you guys and your quality standards for vintage, because sometimes folks don't understand why a certain piece or garment is priced the way it is. For example, my beautiful fedora was $30 with good reason, because it's really well made. What sort of qualities do you look for in a garment when you're picking for it to choose for your shop and pricing it?
Something that's not gonna fall apart right after the customer wears it for the first time, which is already like a better chance with vintage garment than with a modern garment, because it's already lasted as long as it has. But you got to give things like a really good once over, twice over, 3 times over for things like holes and stains. And we do repair some things and stain treat some things to bring them back to life if they're worth the time and effort. But just generally trying to pick stuff that's already in great condition.
Well, I have to say your choice of garments is absolutely exquisite. I noticed that everything is very, very what's the word? Even the knit was holding its shape, and the color was very, very vibrant.
Yeah.
I noticed the beading on the cardigans that you were selling was just absolutely perfect. I do a lot of vintage shopping. I noticed that everything was very, very in very good quality, good condition.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people just take really good care of their stuff. I've been to some estate sales or wholesales where you can just tell that the person has taken great care to make sure that items are stored properly, and so that over the years, as time goes by, you're not seeing that damage and that wear. Like a sweater, for example, you don't want to hang it in the closet on a hanger because the knit's going to get all stretched out. You want to make sure it's folded. You want to make sure it's not catching other things. Some things do take some thought. Like we sell a lot of things that are not necessarily machine washable, or you don't want to put in the dryer. I put almost nothing in the dryer except for towels and socks. So that's a part of it too, is just taking good care of things, paying attention to what the article's made out of and how it needs to be cared for.
Oh, it makes such a big difference. I have done everything you should not do to a garment, including putting a cashmere wrap in the dryer.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
It turned into a cashmere napkin.
Yes. It always amazes me how small wool things can become when they, like a large adult sweater could come out like a baby sweater.
Oh my God, let me tell you, this pashmina that I killed, there was no stretching it back out, because I know there are different techniques that you can do to kind of repair a bit of the damage, but oh yeah. Read the instructions, guys. When in doubt, dry clean it.
And I find stuff like that when I'm picking sometimes too, like things that have clearly been washed improperly. Like with a wool garment, for example, if you have like a jacket or a waistcoat or something where the outer part is wool and the lining is not, you'll see that the lining sticks out the bottom because the outer part shrunk and the lining did not.
Yes.
Just as an example.
I have seen that before, actually. It's true. It just takes that one time to really kind of mess up the garment.
Yeah.
I know. Have you ever had a customer come in the month that you've been open asking for you to kind of fix something for them, like help me?
Like something that they already owned.
Yeah, something that they already own, maybe not necessarily had purchased from you, but being a vintage shop, has anyone asked you for assistance or guidance?
Not so much. Like I've had a couple of sales where people have asked like, how do I wash this? And I'm always happy to let people know like the best ways to care for things. But I am actually like in the market for a dry cleaner and a tailor who are good with vintage fabrics. I don't have either of those two things locked down at the moment, and I don't feel comfortable recommending a place to someone if I don't know from experience that they are well versed in those kinds of old fabrics. So if anybody knows of a dry cleaner or a tailor that is good with vintage pieces, I'm on the hunt.
Yes, please. I was just going to say, if anybody watching right now knows somebody who knows somebody, reach these guys at Instagram Ragdoll Vintage Toronto. Direct message them, or if you can't remember, direct message me and we will connect, because I love that you're talking about tailors, because your tailor is your best friend. Your garment can go from crap to outstanding.
Yeah, I have a whole bag of things that need to be altered for myself personally. So.
Well, and that's something I learned a long time ago. Dress to the largest part of your body and then tailor it in. So what if it costs you an extra $40 or $50? If you look dynamite in that garment and you're going to wear it a lot, then the money is invested right there.
The thing that was a lot more common in the days where not every single item was made with stretched fabric. So
yes,
there was a need to have things specifically tailored to your shape because it didn't move with your body. It just had to fit properly. So.
Absolutely. And that's where my love-hate relationship with side zippers comes. I am terrible at it. My wrists do not bend.
Well, I'm lucky I have him to help me get dressed a lot of the time. I do have certain pieces that require assistance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guaranteed. Inevitably, like one person's holding it together, the other person's trying to do it up, and you're trying not to laugh, and you're like, oh my God, why did I eat that burrito last night?
Yeah. Sometimes I think like if he wasn't there, I would just end up sleeping in the thing.
I have actually done that. I had a dress made, and it was a zipper up the back, and had a great time at the party. And when I got home, did this for like an hour, and finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sleep in this dress, and I'm going to see my best friend tomorrow, and she can help me get out of it.
I think a lot of women have had that experience. I actually had a customer telling me the other day that they had a friend that would go down to College Street and just ask the first woman that she saw walking that if she could help her with her zipper. Oh my God, that's a brave person.
That is very endearing.
I thought it was really sweet. Yeah.
That is very sweet. And you really kind of learn a lot about people by who's going to help and who's not. I would try that, but my street is one way and not very busy.
Yeah, you're wandering for blocks and blocks trying to get your dress unzipped. It could be a dangerous scenario.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you help me get out of my dress? What? Being open on a very busy street, because College Street is pretty busy. You guys are close to the market. You're kind of in between different zones. What is your favorite decade in history for vintage articles of clothing? I'm going to ask that before I ask my question. That's a really great question.
What about you?
Probably either the 1890s or the 1970s. Different time periods, but I like to mix them up sometimes.
That's a really broad spectrum. What about you?
I mean, just to go back to what he said for a second, I think it's really interesting that he chose two time periods where there was a lot of more sort of what would be now considered effeminate styles in male dressing, which I think is starting to come back a little bit as the gender lines are blurring. Like pieces don't have to be either masculine or feminine. They can go both ways.
I love that about fashion. I love to see men in necklaces and nail polish and makeup. And, I think if I remember my fashion history correctly, high heels were originally worn by men.
Yes.
Makeup originally by men.
Originally, way back when, the first time period you mentioned, and then again in the 70s when platform shoes were totally unisex, and like that's the only reason I was able to find a pair of 70s platforms in my size, was because they were a men's shoe, because I'm a size 9, so vintage shoes are not always in my favor with a large lady's foot.
Thank you, glam rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I can relate. I'm a 9.5, 10. Well, 9 in heels, 10 in flats, you know, like good luck.
I feel like I have a hard time narrowing it down because I have a lot of favorite time periods for different reasons. Mostly like the 40s and earlier tends to be like where I really fall in love. I love the whole post-war look of the late 1940s, where the suits started to have that like beautiful feminine curve in them, and designers were excited to be able to use more fabric again, as those limitations had kind of started to lift. Christian Dior's new look of the late 40s, early 50s is just so complimentary of a feminine shape and very flattering on that curve. And then I love the 1920s, the 1930s. I love Victorian era fashion. I love.
Did you just cover every?
Just all of it, yeah.
Well, fashion is very moody. You know, I'm very much the same way. Like I love to mix, you know, vintage and modern together. You know, I'm wearing an 80s fedora, you know, and I might want to have, you know, a punkier, more, you know, 70s hairdo or feather it out or something. You know, I just bought a little straw hat that would go great with a Gibson knot, you know.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, that's what you do with green hair.
Fashion over the eras, it's always borrowing from different time periods. So like I own a lot of things from the 80s as well, but a lot of the 80s stuff that I own is very much a nod to the 40s, like sort of that 80s does 40s. But the fit is like a little bit easier for me because not everything was so tiny.
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing a 1940s satin hostess dressing gown right now.
It's very nice.
But
earlier I was like, ooh, that's beautiful.
I've been waiting for an occasion to wear it. So,
do you find sometimes, and you know, and it's funny for me to say this because I have green hair, but sometimes I'm very sheepish about being overt with my fashion. I do like wearing a lot of dressing gowns and long lingerie that's a little more vintage over top of my street clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'll just feel so silly doing it. You know, it's been a weird struggle with me lately because like I'll buy these different pieces where I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. I look like, you know, I'm running down a hallway in a haunted castle, and then I go to step out the door and I'm like, oh no, maybe that's too much.
It's never too much,
right?
You have to love what you're wearing in order to pull it off and feel comfortable in it. You know, like
that's the only thing that matters, really.
Yeah.
We both dress in a way that a lot of people would feel like they're wearing a costume, but to us it feels very natural. So it's a very personal thing, style and fashion, and that's one of the things I love about it. Like it is the art that you wear, that you live your life in. So, you know, it's like pulling it off is all just about feeling good in it. Like I feel more comfortable when I'm a little bit more over the top. That's what is natural for me. So dressing casual is what makes me feel a little bit more self-conscious sometimes.
I can get that. I absolutely get that. I don't leave the house without my false lashes on and my face done up. I just simply cannot. Because that for me is where I feel like me.
Yeah.
You know, I will take my makeup off at night, even drunk. I still do it. Thank you, drunk Liz. Because I want to have nice skin. But let me tell you, I don't leave the house, not even to go to the grocery store without something on.
Nor do I, which I probably inherited from my grandmother, who would never go anywhere without being like head to toe, put together, everything accessorized, fabulous all the time. So I grew up watching that and admiring it, and I adopted that very quickly in my youth.
Me too. Do you ever call it putting on a face? I had to put on my face.
Yeah. Yeah. She let me shoot a roll of film one time of the process of her putting her makeup on from start to finish. And I was very grateful that she let me do so, because I think prior to that, I had never even seen her without makeup on.
It's true. It's the sort of thing where, you know, I really admire a woman that can walk around without any makeup on, you know, a fresh face. Alicia Keys, my hat's off to you. You are fantastic. I know for myself, I do need to be a little more outrageous looking, you know, and I think that fashion is really a great way to express yourself that way. I love it.
Makeup becomes a part of the style thing too. Like my outfits are very put together, so if I don't do my face, it feels like something's missing. You know, I feel attractive without makeup on when I'm at home wearing nothing, but when I'm out wearing a head to toe put together outfit, you need that thing to finish it off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is that dot on the eye.
It's probably like you with your pearls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've noticed of the 2 times that I met you that you like to wear the pearls, you know?
I do, very much so. I have them on my wrist.
Well, there you go. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Actually under my shirt as well.
They're hiding under the tie.
Now I have to ask, are they real pearls or costume?
These ones are real pearls.
Nice.
When we went to Hawaii right before the pandemic happened.
Oh, that's cool.
But the other ones are all just costume. I love good costume jewelry, and jewelry for me doesn't have to be real because I can never afford the stuff that I want to wear anyway. So.
Yeah. We love costume jewelry. We have lots of it here at the store.
I'm a huge fan of costume jewelry, especially brooches and anything really statement-y. Like Iris Apfel is my girl. I love her. Oh my gosh. Like she can't have too much jewelry on.
Yeah.
You know, I think she's got up to like 12 bangles on each arm before.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
She's just a fabulous dresser in general.
Absolutely. She's made it 200 years old.
My grandmother, actually, the way that her whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to be wearing caftans and bangles like that. You know, like I'm not in a rush to go there yet because I do still want to have different things in my style evolution. You know, I feel like if I do it all at once right now, I'm just going to be really boring a year from now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I overheard someone the other day talking about wanting to incorporate a specific look into their style, but saying something to her friend about like, well, I don't normally dress like that, so I don't know how to like suddenly make that shift. And I just think like style is a thing that, again, is so personal, but is constantly evolving. So don't ever be afraid to try something new or to work something new into your wardrobe, even if it's something you've never worn before, because it's about being inspired. So if you feel inspired to wear something or to rock something that's different than you've ever done before, go for it. It's fun. Getting dressed should be fun.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely.
In general.
Do you ever find that you purchase something and you don't wear it for a couple of years?
I do that all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there would be times that I'll try it on and then chicken out at the last minute, but then I finally put it on and it's the only thing I wear for like a month straight.
Yeah, like you go through phases with things. Sometimes you forget about something and then you rediscover it and you're like, oh, I forgot about this thing and now I'm obsessed with it and I want to wear it all the time.
Absolutely. That's been with me with my Betsy Johnson bat. I'm just like, I have to wear that with everything.
That right away. It's adorable.
And it's green. Sorry. And it sparkles. Oh, damn it.
A shout out to Betsy, because what a great example of fashion being fun. She loved fun and wanted everything to be fun. And that's a great style philosophy, I think.
Absolutely. You know, I have to say, you know, being store level and anybody and everybody could walk in off the street. Who is your bucket list or wish style icon that you would love to have come into your store?
Oh my God, I don't even know.
Wendy?
We do have one regular customer that we're absolutely in love with. She's kind of our first like real regular who comes and shops again and again. She works at Lilliput Hats down the street.
It's an amazing store.
Lovely store. I've admired it since I was a child. I used to like drag my dad in there and just make him let me try on hats. And he's come in like pretty much since we opened and is constantly buying stuff and complimenting our outfits, and we're complimenting her outfits. She's always wearing something great, and we just like respect each other's quirky sense of style. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like if you're talking about like a celebrity, I feel like I would have to really rack my brain to even think about it, because I love just seeing like regular people on the street who have like a really authentic sense of personal style, who are doing something like different and unique. Like that's the customer that I love. It's just like, you know, any regular person who's just doing something different. Like when people come in wearing a cool outfit, we're always both like on them right away. Like, oh my God, what a great dress, what a great bag, what a great shoes. Like we're totally like quick to compliment anyone who's wearing a piece that we love. And it's definitely not just for the sake of customer service, because we don't throw that out there unless we really mean it. So.
Well, and that's the vibe that I got from you guys. You genuinely love what you're doing, and you definitely, you know, take enjoyment in celebrating, you know, things that are visually pleasing and exciting, and, you know, people who have just gone and been their authentic selves. You know, it's very obvious.
Yeah, just, you know, love to see people expressing themselves through clothes and having fun with it the way that we like to.
Yeah, and it's just wonderful to be able to help people do that too, the store.
Absolutely, because sometimes you will get that customer that comes in and they're completely intimidated or lost or overwhelmed. You know, because there is, you have so much in your store. It's so lovely, but if you're not used to shopping, you know, in an environment where there's so much choice, it can be a little daunting sometimes.
Yeah, and like we're always happy to personal shop people and to help them find specifically what they're looking for. We also like have a book where we keep customer requests. So if someone is looking for something very specific, we'll take their name and number so that if that particular thing comes around in the future when we're picking, then we can give them a call and let them know.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So I'm a huge fan of customer service.
but when people are looking for something really specific, like I have a really good memory when it comes to clothes. So
Nice.
like, that's something in that I know someone was asking about. I'll be like, oh, I got to flip through the book and find that person because I remember that someone was looking for this particular thing.
Oh man, you can't get that kind of clienteling. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, let me put together my list.
Of course. No guarantees, of course, because it's vintage. So you find what you find. You just hope for the best. And sometimes it takes years to find a certain thing that you're looking for, especially because not only are you looking for a specific thing, but you have to hope that it is the right size and fit for you. So,
Oh my God.
In looking for vintage clothes and stuff like that for myself, I've kind of given up entirely on trying to find something specific and just kind of like letting it happen naturally and letting it, whatever comes to me, come to me.
Oh my God. I can relate. I have been searching for 15 years now for a dark chocolate brown suede hobo bag with fringe. Do you think that exists? Probably not, but I'm still looking.
anyway, I found some like tinier versions of what you're describing, not necessarily like a big bag like what you're looking for, but now that I know, I'll keep it in mind.
Thanks. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's in my mind. That and deep fuchsia raspberry cowboy boots.
Ooh, tough color.
Right? Could you imagine? Oh my God, I would wear those everywhere. I wouldn't even wear clothes. I would just wear those.
Red ones are hard enough to find, but fuchsia, that's a whole other world.
Because trust me, pink and green is my ultimate, I went to say flavor combination, color combination. But you know, it's fun to have those holy grail things because you're right. You know, to your point, Nathan, you let it go for a second, and then all of a sudden you're surprised by other things.
Yeah, exactly. And
sometimes you find the thing that you're looking for when you kind of stop thinking about it. That happens too.
Oh my gosh! I don't know how you can have so much self-control when you are immersed, you know, in all of this treasure hunting for your store. Like
no self-control.
That's the thing. That's one of the
Every
reasons
time we go
store.
picking, we get way too much stuff for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, that's for the store, this is for me, and that's for the store, and this is for me. And then sometimes like we'll bring stuff to the store and then he'll try something on and I'll be like, oh, that looks so good on you. You have to keep it now.
I just brought home an old blazer a couple days ago that we had on the shelf or had out on the rack, and I just caught my eye and I tried it on and I had to take it home
I,
again.
I steamed a pile of stuff and I was in the process of pricing it and he was like, "Oh, what is that?" And then he put it on and we were both like, "Yeah, maybe you should keep that."
Yeah.
Well, that just means one thing. It means that you're in the right job, the right industry, because obviously your passion is very genuine. You know, you have a lot of heart when it comes to dressing yourselves, and I think that really translates to your shop. You know, I'm really excited to see what you guys do in the future. You know, what exactly is on your list and your plans for the next year?
We have a lot of like hopeful plans for the future. Maybe I'll let you take the reins on this since a lot of them are kind of your ideas, like the photo studio.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna try to get a bunch of things up and running in a little while. Like we have a photo studio kind of set up at the back of the store right now for product and stuff like that. But I'd in time like to turn it into sort of like a like, you know, an old timey photo booth sort of situation where you can like try on some clothes and go and have your photo taken in the back. And I have an old 4x5 camera that I can shoot some black and white film on, and I can take people's portraits back there.
Like when you go to the carnival and there's a photo booth and you can like put on a fun outfit.
Yeah. And I'm gonna set up a dark room in the basement for processing and developing the photos down there, and so yeah, hopefully just make it fun and have a good time with that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps about that. That is so exciting. Oh, sorry, I love playing dress up. I really do. I love dressing. I love fashion, and I love that. You know, now that things are kind of moving forward a little bit, that, you know, mentally, I know for myself, I'm able to come back to it again. I actually care about dressing beyond yoga pants and a t-shirt in my house, you know, because for a long time, my only audience was my boyfriend. And, you know, he can tell me I look great till the cows come home, but I need to be witnessed.
Yeah. We were dressing up for each other at home for fun during the pandemic, but it's definitely better being able to actually like go out in the world and have like even more of a reason to wear those fun outfits. But I think part of the joy of coming to a vintage store is, you know, even if you're not necessarily going to buy an outrageous thing, like people love to see it there. And so that was kind of the idea behind that. It was like, I won't ever discourage someone from trying something on, even if they have no intention of buying it. Like, you want to have fun, you want to like experiment. Maybe their mind will be changed when they see how phenomenal they look in it. But that was kind of the idea behind the photo booth idea, is that people could just like get dressed up for fun and then have like the souvenir photograph to take home. And
the film would take a couple days. We'd have to send it out to people or have them come back and pick it up. But we'd also do it digitally if people are in a big hurry and they want to put it out on the internet.
But we prefer to do it with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I mean, it at the end of the day, when you see how fabulous you look in a garment and you're having a really great experience, you can't help but not fall in love. You know, and I think that's something that I really emanates from Ragdoll Vintage. There's a lot of love and a lot of heart in what you guys are doing, and I'm really excited to see what the next few months in the coming year brings for you. And I really hope that, you know, I can continue to celebrate that with you online, because I really love what you guys are doing, and I'm so inspired by the both of you. I really am.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, and it was so nice of you to you walked all the way from Parkdale the day you came to see us. Which
That's right.
So we know how far of a walk that is. And,
it was kind of a pilgrimage, actually.
Yeah. I appreciated that.
Well, guys, I wish you the best of luck with everything. I'm going to definitely, you know, circle back with you about something strange as well. Guys, I want to make sure that I direct you to their Instagram. Again, please go follow them. Go visit them. Ragdoll Vintage is located at 372 College Street. What are your hours of operation, just so we know?
So they may change in the fall. We're kind of just testing the waters with the hours right now, but currently we are open 11 to 7 from Monday to Thursday, 11 to 8 on Fridays and Saturdays, and 12 to 7 on Sundays. So those are current hours. They're listed on Google. And, you know, maybe change during the slightly colder, slower season, but for right now, that's where we're at.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to come back and visit you guys and be that girl in the gift that throws all her money out the window as I take all your hats. But, again, guys, keep up the great work. As my friend, the magnificent Kaboom is saying, keep up the great work. Top shelf. You guys are fantastic.
And good expression.
Top shelf. Actually, that's where all your really good hats are. I noticed.
On the top shelf.
Guys, keep up the great work. I will see you very, very soon. Stick around, but I'm going to part with you right now. Thank you so much for being on the show this week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I want to thank you guys, as always, for being such an amazing audience. I love how you will incorporate questions, and it's really, really exciting to me to see that you're paying attention, you're tuning in, you're turning on, and you're taking part. And this show really is for you guys. If you have any tips, tricks, or any folks that you want me to interview, please reach out to me on a DM through Planet Lizzdom. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. And I'm really proud of each and every single one of you for tuning in every week, because I know life gets busy and there's a lot going on. So to see you in the comments section really, really means a lot to me. I wish you guys an amazing weekend. We're at the start of fall. Life is great. And you know what? You guys are amazing, and always tune in, turn on, and take part, because you truly never know who's going to land right here on Planet Lizzdom. I'll see you guys next week. Be well.